you back, right? I know it's been a little while. We've now had this live on a Sunday, and I thought I want to come back to you. I want to come back to you because there's been so many times, right? So we've had a conversation and we're able to exchange and bounce back, right? And then I want to talk to you about the one rule definitely for me you should not deviate from. So do you want to know what that rule is? Hey, just as simple, just stay with us and we can talk about that. But before I start diving into that rule, so let me just first of all introduce myself for those of you who may be new to this platform. So my name is Tony Tio, and I'm the founder here of Renewables in Africa. We are your global clean energy champion. And what we do is very simple. We want to demystify this renewable energy sector for you so that it makes it easy and seamless for you to connect, right? We want to make sure that you are able to understand what's happening. You are able to see how you can take advantage of it. Yeah. And that's the reason for us having this conversation on a daily basis. Yeah. And I want to talk to you about, like I said, the one rule for me definitely should not deviate from. So can you tell me what it is? Yeah. If you know what it is, or what would be your one rule that you don't want to deviate from, and why is that you don't want to deviate from that? Just drop me that in the comment box and I'll let you know. And before I actually start talking about that, I just want to say we actually broadcast from 5 platforms, right? So we have LinkedIn, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, and we have Telegram. So whichever platform speaks to you, just connect to that. But ideally, what I want is for you to connect to all those 5 platforms so that you know you're not going to miss any of our live, right? And more than that, more than just connecting and subscribing, which is the first thing I want you to do, I also want you to leave a comment. Yes, leave a comment and tell me what you think about everything we are doing. Yeah. So give me your opinions, and then we'll be more than happy to hear that. To be said, even if it's criticism, I like constructive criticism, right? So because that's the way I've been able to build a company and to do better and to push further, right? And the third thing that I want you to do, if you're looking at me right now, you want to share it. You want to share it. Why do you want to share it? Oh, it's very simple, because I know, and I've been there before. So there are people that are wondering, so how can they get some of the information that we're sharing on this platform? So they're not aware of it, right? And I know that by you taking this action, you're definitely going to be of a big help for them. Yeah. And especially I want to talk about that one rule. Right? Today, it's more important, I would say, for everybody, but especially for those of you who are entrepreneurial mindset, right? And they want to move forward, right? So that one rule, definitely, I believe you should not deviate from. And I will tell you why I believe it's so important. Yeah. So make sure that you actually share the video with people that you know who would be interested by that. And I'll be very grateful. Yeah. So first of all, let's come back to that. So why do I want to talk about this one rule? I think I think first of all, it's applied directly to me. Yeah, it applied directly to me because everything I'm sharing on this platform, most of it, it's something I either applied to me in my own life or in the company, right? And obviously the people, the client we're working with. Because I'm sure you're gonna tell you, oh Tony, you talk about clients, but what is that you actually do? Because a lot of people sometimes ask me this question. It's very simple, right? So we are a virtual media platform, and what we do is to help our clients, yeah, to raise awareness about the product and the services so they can make more sales. Ultimately, there are 3 things that we want to give to them: more visibility, more leads, and more sales. That's what we do, right? And obviously, reach out and we can talk more about why we're doing what we're doing. But as I was saying, so the reason I want to talk about this one rule is because I must admit, yeah, and I have to be honest with myself, I have had a rather very tough week. Yeah, very tough week. So I can't go in detail on the on what the challenge has been, but it has been a very tough week. Yeah, and I've not been stressed like that for some time. Yeah, it kind of is the kind of issue that kind of derail everything you plan for the week. Yeah, when you arrive, it takes everything on the way, and you spend your whole week working on that, to figure out the solutions. And what you realize, actually, it takes you completely away from your trajectory, right? And yeah, and at some point in time, you need to question yourself. So, oh, where am I going here? So, yeah. So how do I control it? So that's what I thought. I thought about that. Yeah. So basically, it has been a very tough week. And even I was thinking, is it the right thing maybe for me to do this live video today, or should I just, let's say, recover by myself, cry for myself? I said to you, no. At the end of the day, what it's all about here, I think what we also want to show to people is no matter what we tend to be showing on the video camera, we are all, like all of you, human, right? We all have ups and downs. And sometimes you have more down than up, right? That's normal. But how do you share that with people to say that, hey, if you're going through that, this is normal. We're all going through that. And how do you actually react? And how do you move forward? So that's why I wanted to do this quick live today, and I'm hoping very much that some of you maybe will be asking questions. I'll be more than happy to respond to that. It's going to be a little less about the actual technicality of renewables energy, even if I can tell you that definitely tomorrow I'm going to be obviously promoting the second episode of our podcast, right? So we're going to come to it a little bit later. But yeah, that one rule I want to talk about. Yeah. So like I said, so it was a really beating for me this week, right? Very difficult, very challenging, very tough. The full week, definitely. And I was close not to be able to shout this video today, but I thought, no. I owe it to you to also basically talk about some of the challenges that we're having. Because when you're an entrepreneur, and not necessarily only an entrepreneur, so when you're doing the job that you're doing, yeah, so you have a goal, you have some objectives, and you're moving forward, and something, all of a sudden, bang, will take you away from it, right? And it's not easy to come back on track, and it's sometimes absorbing all the energy that you have, but you got to find a way to go back to the trajectory. So that's why I wanted to talk about the one rule. So have you had this kind of situation whereby, like I say, so you're on track, you're doing well, and all of a sudden something happened, it takes your full attention, it takes your whole energy, and sort of derail you. So have you had that sort of challenge before? I'm sure you do. So if you have, so how did you basically fix it? How did you react? Yeah, because that could be quite helpful for all of you watching our platform. Yeah, if you can tell me, that'd be fine. So for me, yes, that it was very, very difficult. But then I thought about that one rule, which is almost like the first rule of success that I've heard from other people, and I've also adopted for myself. I said, no, I owe it to myself, and I owe it to the people I'm working with, just to talk about it, and also to make sure that we're moving forward. And that one rule I want to talk to you about, it's simply having to keep up with the momentum. Yes, show up and keep up with the momentum, whatever happened. Because the reality is, life is not, let's say, it's not an easy journey in a sense. And I'm sure most of you listening to me right now won't be surprised to hear that it's not an easy journey at all, right? So you probably have plans in place. So you already planned things, it's going to happen like this. In fact, most of the time, what you realize is whatever we plan for, we tend to be planning from a very optimistic side. Yeah. So there are many challenges, issues that we do not account for, right? And when those issues arrive, and ultimately they will arrive, so the question is, how do you stay the course? How do you keep up the momentum? Which is the one rule for me. How do you keep up the momentum? How do you keep going? And that is what is quite fundamental. You need to keep going. You need to find a way to move forward. You need to find the way to get the resources to move forward. Now, the issue could be health, the issue could be financial, the issue could be, I don't know, family. So there's different kind of issues. So how do you find a way to make one step after the other? So how do you reinvent yourself? So how do you look inside the various personalities or trait of character that you have to move forward? Yeah. So that is, as I say, as I was thinking about, maybe I'm not gonna do these this video today, because I told you, I'll be quite honest with you, I didn't feel it today really, but I said to myself, no, it's not just about feeling it. You got to do it. You got to deliver that, right? Because that's how you show how committed you are. And if you are very committed, that's how you find a way to move forward. And then when you look back at what you've done and what you've done so far, how you've achieved your things so far, you realize, oh yes, this is actually, you've made progress step by step. In fact, most of the time we're thinking that, okay, I'm only going to do that when the condition going to be perfect. Guess what? It is very rare. It's not impossible, but it's very rare to have all the stars aligning for you to be able to do one thing. It may happen once or twice, but most of the time, there's always that one thing that's nagging you, that annoys you, right? But you gotta find a way. That's how you get your creativity at play. That's how you get the resourcefulness that you have at play. Yeah, and you say that, okay, that's nothing to do with renewable. That's nothing to do with work. Are you sure? Really? Listen, I talk to people on a regular basis when they come to me. They want to deliver projects in renewables, in a- any other area, and they will say that I don't have the money. Yeah, I don't have the money. I want you to help me. And when I get them to understand, okay, I can work with you, but you also need to understand that working with us, there will be a cost. There will be a fee component that's part of it. And obviously, most of them will disappear, right? I don't have the money, blah, blah, blah. I can't do it. So it's about how do you become resourceful? Yeah. For example, I told you about that last week we had the one day one concept idea where we're talking about this idea of fundraising, finding money for your own company. I can tell you that this is an exercise I have had to go through as well last week myself. I can't go to the detail, but just say, how do you become resourceful in order for you to tackle the issue that is in front of you? That is the one quality. How do you keep going? How do you keep up the momentum? How do you show that? How do you show up to show that you are that you are committed? That's one thing that is very very important. And also last week I was talking to one of the ladies, very very talented ladies. Hopefully we're gonna work together. And she was telling me about the project that she has in mind. And bear in mind we talked about that since last year, right? And yeah, I can see she's making small step after small step, but she's extremely busy and she's finding it not easy at all to bring things together and to move it forward. And from my point of view, I think she just keep on delaying all the time. And I was obviously, if she's listening to me right now, I'm sure she recognizes it. But I was kindly sharing her that you gotta find a way to move forward. You gotta find a way to move forward. And if you gotta move your idea forward, right? Whoever you talk to, so if you want to attract investors, if you want to attract clients, if they need to know that you exist. And I think, and if you want to know how you exist, you simply need to find a way to show up. That's why I talk about over the visibility. They need to know that you are around. But guess what? I know you're very busy at the moment with work. I know you have this commitment, that other commitment, but guess what? It's never going to die down. You're always going to have multiple things. How do you organize yourself to decide what is your priority and how do you go about delivering this priority? That is what it's all about. So that is the trick. You got to find a way. It's about determining what is the priority in your life for you to be able to move forward. Another example, I have a young gentleman. So obviously, again, so I'm not going to mention his name. I don't want to mention name. Obviously, I don't want to embarrass them because I'm just taking the example because they're representative of a number of people I'm meeting, but it's not obviously to criticize them, not at all. But I know that he was very interested. I actually asked him, this is what we could do. So if you want to work together, here is the solution I'm offering to you. So if you can't do it for yourself, so what about you bring a group of people that can work together with you and I can see what we can do to accommodate that, in terms of the cost component. He was very interested, so he was about to do it. Something happened, derating a little bit. So I'm still waiting to hear back from him. Hopefully, you come back. But what I'm simply saying here is all of us basically have that one thing that we want to do. And I don't know how things happened. That I call it life. Life happened and sort of derail us. And sometimes we taking that as an excuse not to come back and carry on with what we want to do. And I'm telling you from my experience, my little experience that I have, basically, it's very rare that you're going to be in a situation where you got everything lined up for you to just move forward. You always gonna have challenges up and down, and that's what makes life quite interesting. And the great thing, in fact, you shouldn't be complaining, you know, for one or two issues that you're having. You should actually be thankful for the ability to develop the skills and competence for you to deal with even bigger problem. Because the thing is, when you start dealing with bigger problem, some of the little issue that, or some of the issue that you were experiencing before, you realize, oh, that was actually so little. So how come I was actually concerned about that? And that is what the problem is here for. It's just to allow you to go above that, right? To develop the skills, the mentality to go forward. And that is one thing that I definitely say I wanted at least to connect with you today. First of all, because obviously at the end of the day, I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy sharing my experience. I enjoy sharing my knowledge about renewables energy. And I thought at the end of the day as well, it's about sharing those kind of lessons that could be interesting for some of you, especially younger folks who are looking to embark into this into this topic. So say, hey, even guy like myself, sometimes in our shoulder is a lot to take. I could tell you that the day felt very, very, very heavy this week. They felt very heavy. But hey, as long as you're breathing, there's life, and as long as life, that means you can move forward. You can find the results, sorry, to move forwards, and then yeah, and to take on. So hopefully that is helping some of you, and I'm hoping as well that if you have questions, by the way, I'll be delighted to answer to one or two questions. My question to you today is very simple. So, have you had issue that preventing you to move forward with your project, in the space? What is your project? Let me know what is your project. Maybe I could advise. I'd be happy to at least hear advice very quickly, or drop me a message later on if you have that one thing that prevents you to always go back and get things move forward. What is it? What is it? Maybe I can suggest one or two ideas. I'd be very much delighted to do that. Yeah. So I'm waiting for you to drop your question if you have any question. If you don't have any question, that's fine. We're just gonna make it a short session. But at the same time as well, I don't want to finish without talking about this, right? I want to talk about, as you know, I launched a podcast. This is one of the things, right? Listen, I launched a podcast. First of all, that was quite funny because I announced this podcast that was last year, end of last year. I was very excited. That was just after CUP, right? So I was gonna launch it before the year end, but then again, I got derailed. Yeah, I couldn't do it for multiple reasons. Ultimately, I decided, 1st of Feb, this is it. We need to launch it. I launched the first episode. Very proud of myself. I was about to launch the second. Again, I can say I got derailed again, right? But this is something that really, really dear to me. And I just want to say that, yeah, tomorrow we're going to be releasing the second episode. Actually, the second episode is already live, but I just want to announce it so they know where you go and download it. And I'm very proud of this podcast. Why am I proud of it? Because first of all, like I said, so we want to talk to you about the industry, basically large picture, right? So we give you the big picture of the renewables energy, global scale, not just Africa, not just Europe, not just Asia, right? First of all, what it's all about. And that second episode, right? So when you come to hear that tomorrow, it's sort of talk to you about the journey. How is the journey of energy? We gone from oil, right, all the way to progressively renewable. So where does it come from? And also, how come oil, which is the black gold, how has it developed to become so important, right? Because for me, you need to understand that, like I say, so renewables energy is just a component of energy, which is a component of the economy, which is a component of the whole life, right? How did all of it come together? And that's what in that second episode, I just wanted to look at that journey, right, of energy, from oil all the way progressively to renewables. And after that, I'm working on the third episode. So I'm going to be launching that tomorrow, so promoting that tomorrow. I just want you to listen to that. I'm very proud of that. But I just want to say that thing that we're so happy about. But hey, it's not easy to push forward because many things happen. Yeah. So definitely make sure that I want you to be on standby for us. We're going to be pushing that tomorrow, and I want you to go listen and let me know what you think. But in between, I don't know if you've had time to think a little bit. If you have any particular issue that you want to talk about, I'd be delighted to do it. And what was I going to be doing is yeah, in here as well, you could see there is a little what here. Yeah, that's it. So there is a little QR code there. If there's some of you who want to partner with us, do reach out. Be more than happy to talk to you about. And then yeah. So, but do you have any projects, any idea that you'll be looking to push forwards, and you find it difficult to move forward? If you find it difficult, so what was the problem about? So can we talk about it? Can we advise you? Can you tell you how you can make it happen? Yeah. So yeah, so that would be quite cool if there is anything that you have to say with regard to that. So that is essentially all I had to say for today. So I just wanted to show up, like I say, show up. That's the one rule you don't want to deviate from. Show up, keep up the momentum, and that is how you're really making progress. That's how you're making, you're making things happen. Because don't just wait for days when everything basically look great. Actually, the day you're actually progressing is the day everything looks south, look bad. You find the courage, you find the inspiration to go out there, to wake up, stand up, and to move forward step by step. Yeah. So that is what I really wanted to share with you today. And I'm happy to have had the opportunity to say so. And yeah, I don't think there is any other questions. Otherwise, you guys would have jumped around that. But guys, happy to talk to you as usual. And then, as you know, tomorrow we're going to come back with the one day, one concept idea. And we're going to talk about the different business model. So in the renewable energy. Is that okay? Excellent. I don't think there's any other questions. So I'm just going to call it a day. And then because I'm hoping that you have a beautiful Sunday and with each other tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye bye.